that is not supposed to be there because that's what's supposed to be there. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in halfway around the world from the wonderful, wonderful world of Malta, we have Carlo Astuti coming in. How you doing today, Carlo?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, I was listening to. I got to share this with everyone because I was completely blown away. I was listening to that set that you did on that catamaran before the interview, and wow! Not only was it so gorgeous, and that was done in Malta, but the entire mix was all tracks you produced. Correct?
That's right.
I mean, I don't think that it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day here in Seattle. I think we're going to go out on a boat tonight. I'm going to take that and play that on the boat tonight.
You should.
It was amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the DJ sessions and being on the show and being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy and blessed and humble. That's the most important thing. To be here and be part of your show.
Well, I think we were talking a little about pre-show that we're really just getting aggressive because we want to talk to everyone out there in the world. There's so many amazing DJs, there's so many amazing producers, but we've also opened up kind of the floodgates to just start talking with everyone out there. And your name was on the list, so it was we reach out and say, hey, you want to do this thing with us? And people say, some people are busy and they're like, no, I don't have time. Some people say maybe in 6 months, and I think it took us a couple times to get this locked down, didn't it?
I know, right? But we made it work. I mean, the time did change and everything. It's what is it? Almost 9 p.m. here, 9:20 p.m. So it's a 9-hour difference. Mm-hmm. But it's doable. It's not too late. We could have done this like later at night, but But
do you have a passion for boating? Because I notice a lot of your sets on YouTube are done on boats, and it's just I had some notes before, and you did a live sunset DJ set on a boat, and
I mean boats. It's but most importantly for this specific project, I wanted to do at sunset, and because it's one of the most beautiful times of the day, and I wanted to do at sunrise. But not a lot of people want to get up early, so the crew, everyone is like, no, it's too early, 5:30 in the morning, but I say let's just do it sunset. Good thing the sea wasn't crazy. It was pretty calm, and it's always challenging. The water, and even though the sea was pretty flat, it was still like bumpy, and had to cover all the equipment, the CDJs and everything, and the mixer, and still, good thing we covered everything up because the water would just splash everywhere. And before, because it took us about 2 hours to get to the location, because we left from the northeast side and we had to go to the west side. That's the sunset, the best spot. And I said, like, we have to go there. Even if it's gonna take a couple hours to get there, and then another 2 hours back. But we achieved. I had that vision, and the vision was to be on a boat during sunset, showcasing my new music. It's a new journey. I was a completely, pretty much outside of the nightlife, and for a while, right before COVID, and I was focusing more on learning new skills. I started taking piano lessons. So for me, being away for a few years actually was helpful and made me a better person, and I think a better musician. You never stop learning, but for me, being able to to know what I was doing, not just putting a bunch of loops together, and maybe even getting help from other producers in order to make a song. It's like I want to be able to do it on my own every day, 100%, and I want to actually know what I'm doing. and every day is a challenge. Being a producer, it can be very difficult. But again, starting and learning the piano from the classical pieces, which is, again, people think, oh, classical music is dead, um, but actually it's so like actually relevant and current, because it opens up the way you create. And so even if you're making a dance song, a techno, a house, or EDM track in general, when you have that background, and it just opens up ideas that before I didn't even know what to do. I wouldn't even know what the name of a chord, like, but yet I have all these songs out, and big you know big releases. I had a couple of hits, and it's like, okay, because, there's a lot of DJs and producers, they still don't, they're not musicians, but which is just crazy. Nowadays you can tour, you can make all this money, and and not being able to know the music, or you just do things by ear, like I was doing,
Mhm.
and which is great. I think you need to have both. I think you need to have that sense of creativity, but also if you can combine that with a little bit of knowledge. It's not like I'm saying now all of a sudden I'm like Beethoven, like I have I don't know if you saw some of the classical pieces, that, I mean, on YouTube you can see all
I
that.
was gonna ask you about that. So your recent interest in playing the piano is new. Not This isn't something you've been doing since you were a child, is it?
Correct. My background is drums. I started playing drums when I was 7, with my grandpa, and so that was my main thing. Always playing by ear. He would teach me. So we would do gigs together. Waiting small little parties with all people, and but but the piano was always there. Because my grandpa was, he played different instruments, like, but then I never really started taking lessons. My parents, like usually parents force their kids, and the kids hate it. It's like, but I wish I had that training. I wish that I started when I was 7 or 5. But but it was about 2017 when I said, like, you know what, it's never too late. I think it's time for me to take a break from the dance music, and then I just focused on taking lessons on a weekly basis, practicing every day, and for a year straight, and then once you're able to do things on your own, you don't need to see your piano teacher so often. And so that's how my journey starts again, like from uh, early 2000, like 10 till 2015, DJing everywhere, having this, songs and spinning records and this and that, like, making, good money on gigs. But again, um, at the end of the day, I wasn't fulfilled 100%. So that's why I wanted to do that. And it's like, okay, let me just, enjoy and learn the piano, something I always wanted to do, even though people say, oh, you're too old to do it. It doesn't matter. What makes you happy, you should do it. And you should start today.
Well,
And again, classical music, it's like, start learning these pieces from the 1600s, 1700s, romantic time, Baroque stuff. But it really made me happy. And every day I still do that. And
you know, what defines the term DJ for you now? Because you've been doing this since about 2007, making music, correct?
correct.
And
Mhm.
was it? Did you also DJ and make music back in 2007, or which did you start
Uh,
with first, and then started going
the
one
first two
direction over the other?
the first 2 3 years, so until about 2010, 11, I would just mostly just produce. But again, I was new. I would just play around with Logic. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And I
Yeah,
took some private lessons learning how to make music, and again, it was very rough, techno, what I would make at that time. And then I started getting more familiar with um, cutting vocals, and mixing, and mastering. It's just I evolved. I learned more things, and about 2010, 11, that's when I started DJing. and so producing and DJing. But my style, from techno, very dark techno, turned into somehow like mainstream, because it's like, okay, this is cool, and again, in the United States, uh, it's a different market. We just have to accept the thing. Then in the States, it's like, mainstream EDM. It's just really what's popular. That doesn't mean there isn't like good underground scene or tech house. It is
Hmm.
a beautiful scene, but it's very, very. I think it's very different than the European market or the South American market. Argentina, or Brazil. So yeah, so that was, again, I was doing more like EDM, huge, crazy bangers, and Vegas style stuff. And so yeah, that's my story, and but again, just recently, it's about 4 years now. I wanted to just start new. And my like new philosophy is that I want to, let's say, the showcase on the boat, releasing all my music and showcasing it, doing nice videos, either if they're going to be a live set on um, at a club, or again, it doesn't have to be a club. I always tell any young people, any young producers, it's like, you can make a lot of noise just by yourself, and that's what I want to talk about, and there's so much we can talk about this, like always uh, that FOMO, that fear of like, because as a young producer, DJ, they all like, all they worry about is the gigs, where I always tell everyone, I always remind myself that actually, yes, I have the experience I've done in the past, but like, the last thing you should be worried about is the gigs. And I get it. We all want to DJ. We want to be, perform and interact with the people. But I think the most important nowadays is that you should focus on learning something and your skills, and making your own music, and possibly perform your own music. Otherwise, what is the point? And that doesn't mean you're not going to support other DJs or producers. You can throw music here and there of music you really like, but your main focus nowadays is to make your own music and promote it and put it out there. You can make a lot of noise. Even if you have $100 budget, or if you have $100,000 budget, but just do it, and just don't wait. There's no time to wait. And if you don't know how to do it, collab, partnership with someone else, or take some lessons, study, learn. It's never too late. Or now, there are people that buy music, that there's ghost producers. I know for a fact, uh, you know there's things you need to do, if you're really serious about having a career in music. If you're just doing it for fun, you don't care, then it's a different story. But I enjoy more doing it if it's my own thing. It just gives a lot of more joy, more happiness when I do it. For me, playing at and doing a set on a boat, or even if you play in a bedroom for yourself, but if you're playing your own music, it's even better. And again, if there's music you like, then it's great. It's good to support others because you want the support from other DJs. And it's part of the game. You don't want to just be on your own and not support anyone else. So you want to support and be supported, but you can support other ways. Like, you can create your own playlist. It could be a Spotify playlist, or
Hmm.
um, do radio shows or other things. But again, the main focus is your music. You don't want to have 100% of other DJs producing music. Again, that's my philosophy. uh, I mean, some people, some listeners, or some other producer and DJs might think differently, and I totally respect that. But in my opinion, right now, where I'm at, I like to focus on my own stuff and showcase it, put it out there, promote it, organically and see what happens. If people like it, then it's great. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I always tell everyone, your music is not necessarily for everyone. I don't. It's impossible that everyone is going to like your music or the stuff you do. So you can't just hate someone that doesn't like your stuff. And so just appreciate the fact that your music is just for some specific targeted people. But I I'm always like up for constructive feedback. Like some people just can be completely mean and not liking your stuff, and then make some uh, offensive comments. But if
Yeah.
you give me a constructive feedback, I can learn from that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a perfect producer. I think yes, maybe my music for you, for a lot of people, is sounds great. Uh, but I'm telling you, like, it's a work in progress.
If you could change one thing that bothers you in the electronic music scene, what would that be, and how would you go around it, or how would you overcome that or get through it?
I'm already doing it, where it's like, you know, uh, it's the people in the background. It's the people that unfortunately run the show. That I think it's always been a problem, but some. I'm talking about managers and agents. Where it's all like. A lot of time it's conflict of interest, where they're helping some other artists or producers because there's some interest that goes back to them. And I get it, it's part of the game. Or like labels, they don't sign your stuff because they have to push their own artist. So that's something that nowadays you could bypass. And again, I already mentioned, you can make a lot of noise just by yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Start from
Definitely.
very little, and then you build a team. That's the thing. So if you can be helped by a manager or an agent, then start from scratch, make some noise, make the music, promote it yourself, whatever budget you have, and then build this team. And this team, again, doesn't have to be a manager. You have to be the CEO of the company, your own business. And uh, and then you grow from there, and start a party, do something, make you know what I mean, like, even if it's just you, your wife, and the neighbor, you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, it will make you happy the most. And if you're happy just playing your music, someone else is going to be listening to your stuff, and it's going to grow. It's just a matter of time.
Mhm. Absolutely. One of the things I talk with DJs about all the time, new and up and coming DJs, is, you know, one of the difficult things that has come into play is the aspect of having to deal with social media,
Right.
and having the social media aspect be a complete, it can swallow up a lot of one's time, just managing their stuff. And it's interesting how, now I was watching something online the other day, and so I was reading something online the other day where this artist was being, her label requested that she go out and make a viral video to help push her sales, and the
Right.
artist came back and said, that's not my job.
Hmm.
I'm not, that's your job as the label to push, promote. Yes, I'll do stuff on my end, but asking me to do something that's not in my contract. That's
Right.
not in our agreement for me to make social media posts. Yes, I'll make them on behalf of the album, but to make something viral, do something crazy and wacko that is going to get me a bunch of viral views, or hopefully get a bunch of viral views. She was very appalled by that. How have you seen social media change the landscape of the music industry?
It's very tricky, because back in late 90s, or early 2000s, till like Facebook started, really it was very, it was more difficult in other ways to make noise on your own. You really had to go out and network, and meet people in person. That's how it was. I mean, and but so social media has got its pros and cons.
Hmm.
I think if you use it, I mean, I don't want to say just smartly, but like if you put the right amount of time into it, it could be very beneficial. I would never want to be forced by a label telling me what to do. Uh, Make some funny video in order for them to get more streams, but it's very helpful, with Instagram, and then TikTok. Now it's really, you can make some funny videos, but those people that will watch those videos that go viral, not necessarily like are really into your stuff. You just do more like on a personal no, where like you get to show your people around the world that you want to be likable. That's at the end of the day what it is. And there's some big DJ. Look at Bob Sinclair, for example. Amazing DJ and producer. Big fan. I'm a personal fan, but the things he does, the videos are, they're like they're crazy. But you know what I mean. But I respect that. I support him, and it's funny to watch those videos. So, but then you think about it, Darren. Like he doesn't need that, right? He's Bob Sinclair, but hey, he's gaining more millions of followers just by doing some crazy videos. Like, and you know what? Welcome to 2022. So unfortunately, production music, exposure. I mean, it's becoming where it's like literally only 20-30% of the like you really have to work, have to have the music, and they have to be present on social media. But it's like when you're doing a lot of social media, it's like when do I have the time to make the music? It's like, but then I still see a lot of producers where they roll their eyes on you when you say you have to do this, you have to be on social media. Oh no, I'm just a producer. No, I think it's a big mistake. Nowadays you have to do both, even if you're doing some underground like stuff,
Hmm.
especially if you're in the underground world. I feel like you get offended. Oh, I'm a techno, tech house, minimal. I'm just gonna do my music. I know that just my music is gonna take me there, and they don't want to look stupid on their social media because they make fun of the EDM guys doing that. So I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is. But like, listen, if you make techno, if you just so like you feel like you're doing something stupid. But I feel like if you make some videos showing your personality, if you can get close to these people, I think also you can show them that you do something else, which is music. Take it from that perspective where it's like you're not just a stupid funny guy showing some, but like you showing your personality, you getting to know these new people, and they find out that you also make music.
Hmm.
So I think you're making a big mistake as a producer. Again, it's my personal opinion. Like just try to interact and engage, follow, and start that follow, growing that following in a very organic way. Try from, just again, just do everything organic. uh, Try to show your personality and don't buy fake stuff, like followers, all that crap. And so you can monitor everything, you know what I mean? Because nowadays, talking about the fake followers, all that, everyone knows. So it doesn't matter, it's like if you have 1 million followers, 200,000 followers. I got rid of some fake ones myself because it's like, what is the point? You know what I mean?
It's
It's like,
funny you bring that. It's funny you bring that topic up because one of the things that happens is sometimes fans will go out of their way to put a bunch of fake followers on somebody's channel. And there's no
yeah,
way to prevent that. I used to talk with people all the time back in the day, because we were having great success on Twitch and what we're doing with our show. And they're like, oh, I went in and I looked at that viewer, and that viewer is a bot. That's not a real person watching your show. And I go, I can't control that. If somebody wants to take $5 and throw it and spam my Instagram channel or spam my Twitch channel. I can't control that.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show right now. I don't have time to go look at every single viewer and see if they're a
Of
real
course.
viewer or
I
not
did it too. I mean,
and manage
on the
that.
story balls. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it happens. And what do you do if a viewer doesn't want to give you $5 because they know Twitch is going to take $2.50 of it, and they go, "Hey, I'll give you $5 over here, and I'll just bot your channel for you because I want to see you blow up." What do you do if if all of a sudden somebody they want to donate to your channel and they send 10,000 followers to your Instagram
And
without your permission, and you're like, "What the heck just happened?"
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I personally have experience where even music has got taken down from my platforms because
Yeah.
someone is buying, juicing tracks on
Yep.
Beatport, or it's ridiculous. No one cares. This, your distributor really doesn't care, and but this big companies, they don't care, because again, sometimes, if you make noise and one, then for them it's like, who's this guy, and it could be suspicious. Even though you're not doing anything bad, you can still be hurt. But it happens all the time, even with Instagram, where you post something on your story and you see these fake profiles liking your stuff, and it's like, so at the end of the day, it's like, those years of fake stuff, followers, maybe they were good for a few years, but now everyone knows, like, if you're trying to build a organic audience, just start from zero. And then if you have that one fan of 5, 10, that those are real, and it makes you happier. And it's easy also to see the analytics. You can see the demographics, because when you have all this fake stuff, it's really hard to see where your fans are and what your audience is. So, but if it's organic, you can see the city, you can see the gender, whatever. You can see exactly what demographics and what is watching and listening to your music, and it could be YouTube or so. It's helpful when you're building a career and everything. So
Yeah, and that's one of the things is I've told people that I've talked with them about social media and said, look, you got to get your socials up.
yes,
If you want to tour, sometimes the difference between them booking you to play, say taking somebody from Seattle and having them play in Los Angeles, when they already have 10,000 people down in Los Angeles, what's your weight? What are you doing that's better than they are? Are you producing? A DJ's a DJ, and I get it. I'm not knocking the ease of it now, or how you mentioned earlier, it's very easy for a person to become a DJ now. But as a producer, you got to get that track out there. You can do that in a small way or a big way. And that's what they're going to book you on, is your production skills or that track being played. And, but if there's also 10,000 other producers down in, say, LA that they can get for $250 an hour or a night, they're not going to pay you're not going to fly you down there, pay you $1,000 airfare, hotel, and all that to fly you down there to play.
right.
And I have kind of, when you said there's a lot you can do on a small budget, I've told DJs, hey, go out and start contacting promoters in other cities and say, I'll pay my own way. I'm coming down there. Could I do an opening slot? Make your own tour happen.
That's why you have to have a little bit of money to
You have to have a
invest.
little bit of money to do that, though. So if I see people and they're not putting money away, they're not saving money, it's like, well, how do you expect to do anything? And this is a money-driven industry. Unfortunately, that's just the real truth of it is dollars talk, bullshit walks, And in the sense that you might be a Cinderella story, but you're probably going to have a good hookup or have some friends that can know you or get you in front of somebody. And they're still going to say, well, we still need some money to promote this. Or, hey, we're going to put you on this tour, but you're going to have to pay your own airfare if you want to play these 6 cities. Yeah. You're going to have to get your own hotel room, but we will put you on this tour. We will let you come play this festival or this event.
That's right.
It's a hard reality. I mean, I've been doing this show for almost 13 years. And, now I have a staff of people that work for me all over the world, doing different stuff. So, and I have to pay them. And that's not cheap. I'm still not getting paid. I'm paying them.
But I think the most important thing that you're still here today is because you love what you do.
Yeah. I think
that's the thing. If you love what you do, you have a passion. passion or
Mhm.
hobby, whatever you want to call it, because people like think, oh, a hobby is different than a passion and a career. If you do it and you enjoy on a daily basis and you're building something, that's what matters. The money, if it's there, if you have it to invest, is great. Or if you have it to invest and you have a vision that one day you'll make money, then it's great. Just have to be smart and grow accordingly. But again, build like you built a team. You've done it. How much money you put into this? How much time you put in? How many people you have had to find to believe in your project? You know what I mean? Some people think you're crazy. Why you doing? You know what I mean? So it's at the end of the day, it's very similar. Where you just have to build something from nothing.
Mhm. Can you describe a real life situation that was one of the most inspirational things that happened to you in your musical career?
I mean, again, the piano. I mean, it's learning the piano and like a baby, literally, just literally changed my life. Uh, seeing my piano teacher once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, because I would just get excited just to play those little, uh, baby songs, and it's like that's how I started. Like you have to start, and then like just falling in love with the classical pieces and fall in love with the instrument itself, because the piano is the base for everything.
Mhm.
Once you know the basics, of course you get better, better. But like I said, work in progress every day. You never stop learning until like die, pretty much. But for me, it's been a life changing experience, and I highly recommend to anyone that wants to make music or just have a hobby or has a passion for music, just take some lessons, and see if you like it. And for me, and that's like something that I wish I started earlier, but again, it's never too late. I'm happy that it happened in my 30s, and but just yeah, just they put me in a different dimension, and again, musically, and also as a person, as a human being. It's just incredible how things can change.
And do you prefer, when you're out playing in clubs, do you prefer bigger crowds or smaller crowds? Do you like a more intimate vibe where you can actually see the people, or do you prefer playing in a much larger festival kind of setting?
you know uh s- it's a different kind of feel. A smaller intimate crowd, you get to see everyone in their face, and you see that uh reaction when you play the music, and it's nice. It feels like you're playing for your friends, and hopefully some of these people actually know your music from before the set, versus when you play at a festival, you don't see them. You just see this huge crowd, but then it's so powerful, when you play in front of huge crowds, the energy that creates, so the whole, there's like 10,000, 5,000 people. It becomes one thing, and you can totally feel uh the energy. And I don't know, if I had to pick, I'll pick uh a medium venue, like where you can get both. So I would say anything from 500 to 1,000 people venue is perfect. But smaller crowd, that can be nice too. I mean, it's fun.
And do you think dance music sounds better at night, or are you more of a kind of daytime DJ? Which do you
Um,
think works better?
I think you can create some good good energy and good vibes during the day too. I mean, I love pool parties. I love parties by the beach, by the water, um, and with some nice, more like underground, like more take house vibes. You can really enjoy that. But night vibes, like nighttime gigs are also super fun. I mean, I wouldn't, there. I think you have to do both and experience yourself, uh, but they're both different, and because nighttime is also great. I mean, it's yeah. I have no preference. I love them both.
Well, Carl Cox, he was born in 1962. And so that would make him what, almost 60 years old this week.
Yes.
And he's still playing major festivals. Do you see yourself DJing and playing at 60 years old?
I don't know. I just really don't know. I think it's too far ahead of me. The hope is that first I want to be healthy,
Mhm.
and you never know what's gonna happen, but like you want to be able to function and know what you're doing. 60 is not that old, of course, but I totally feel that I could be playing even more than 60. You see now DJs like like you mentioned, Carl Cox, or um, John Digweed, or this big names, Pete Tong, or they're all like in their 60s now, and they're like but I have to say, not all of them. I feel like they're giving the same they're like they're showing the same excitement that I don't know, that I would probably, maybe, I don't know. I'm not at their age, or their on that state of my career, but I feel like maybe they're tired. Some of them could be less excited to, because they just do so many gigs. But I think Carl Cox is one of those that you feel the energy and the excitement to perform and be and create that connection with the crowd. That's another thing. Like a lot of DJs just, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't judge anyone and say, but to me, being a DJ is like, it's a performance. It's a connection. It's like when the musician is playing an instrument at any venue. You want to communicate. You want to when you see a DJ, that you can look at that DJ and is not excited, is not even looking at the crowd, and is completely kind of like absent. It doesn't matter. The music is playing, but like you have to interact and create that energy. It's not just about pushing the button, because now everyone can do it. Or they bring their laptop, they look like they're checking their emails. But
Fun,
I
fun,
think
funny you mentioned that because I caught an artist one time, and I kind of, I knew they were just playing a show here in Seattle, but they were behind the stage while the set was going, and they were on their phone and they
Mhm.
were texting during their entire set. Like, but you couldn't, if you didn't know what he was doing, because he was
Right,
elevated, so you couldn't really see the decks he was
right,
playing on. But he's back here and he's like looking down, and but I was backstage and I'm watching him play with his phone behind the deck, like ticka ticka ticka
right,
ticka.
right.
Ticka. They're in the middle of one of his sets, and I'm kind of like, I'm sitting there, kind of like, hmm, okay, you're just here for a paycheck. And this is a very prominent DJ, and I actually respect him. He's been on the show a number of times. I won't drop the name and I won't get him busted, but it's kind of like, you know, what shows do people get into it? What shows are they doing for a paycheck? And it was a little disparate. It was a little disappointing, but I still love the show, and he's a great
Of
DJ.
course,
And you know,
there. You can also, at the end of the day, you can't judge. You never know what that person is going through at that time.
it could be because it could be their wife. It could be something going on with their kid. It
Fine.
could be,
So
you
at the end
know,
of the day, there's more important things in life than a gig. There's friends and family that I feel like they've always been there supporting you. Nothing against the
yeah,
fans; they're there in that moment, but we don't know. Maybe that guy was, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying overall, when if you see that DJ and he's doing that all the time, then something's not right. Then I wouldn't want to go see that
yeah,
DJ.
yeah,
So, but
exactly.
I think
Gonna
always
gonna
be
gonna
present. It's the
gonna
most
take
important.
gonna take a question from one of our viewers right now. We're gonna bring it on.
Yes.
This new feature. Ballard ESA says, "What's the most important thing record labels should do for their artists, and are they doing a good job with that?"
What they should do. Well, first, okay, that's like if they get back to you, right? Well, first, it's very, very, very difficult. I mean, he didn't say though big or small label.
Mhm.
Uh, but you can get signed. You can even like. I feel like if you're not having any label signing your music, then but if you really believe in the song and your project, you think it's good. I mean, at least you show it to some friends and people that heard more music, and they can give you a true feedback. And if you think it's great, and you can find a record label, just there's so many platforms now you can do on your own. You don't need a label. Just pay something of a monthly fee, and you can be on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, and or Beatport. So, but let's say I'm at a stage in my life in my career where I maybe approach a label, um, and if I do, I already know what their answer is gonna be. Um, but again, I have releases on big labels, and that they didn't do pretty much anything for me. So again, do on your own. I go back to the same thing. And it's also like just start your own label, do your own thing,
Yeah,
like you're doing with your show. Do your own thing, because no one cares about you. At the end of the day, if you believe in your project, in your brand, just build it, do it from scratch. Don't wait for the label to get back to you. Don't think that ultra music, spinning records, all these big labels, they're gonna do anything for you. If you get lucky, maybe you have a connection, they can introduce you to, maybe they'll put you on that compilation, they'll release it for you. But once the song is out, they're not gonna do anything for you. Or like when you're about to sign the agreement with the label, they're not gonna offer you anything. They're not gonna give you an advance. They're not gonna give you an option to pay for a music video for your song. They're not gonna invest $1 for your Spotify placement on for the promotion on Spotify. So they're not gonna do anything. So what are you gonna do? So do it on your own. Release it with these platforms. If you don't want to start your own label, I would say try to start your own label, because it's easier to track all the streams, so you see what actually you're getting from royalties, and where your music is being streamed. If it's Amazon Music, if it's Spotify, if it's Apple Music. Oh, they're playing in Spain. There are 100 streams in this country, so what the people, your listeners are. With the label, they're not gonna say anything to you. So I'm not saying you shouldn't. It should never. I have releases on some major labels, but again, they didn't do anything. So it's just to say that you sign. When I see these people on the social media on their description, I'm signed on spinning. I'm signed. So there's another question.
yeah. I was gonna bring that question in, but I hit the button too early. I'll bring it
Oh,
right
okay.
back.
Oh, yeah, no, like I said, just do it. Don't worry about the labels. Just don't worry, because they're not gonna do it most of the times. I'm not saying 100%, but most of the times, unless you have a strong connection, like your best friend all of a sudden is the AR or Insomnia. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Like, okay, maybe you can. But again, you have to invest the time and the money to have your music heard,
yeah,
because otherwise, no one is gonna care about you.
Yeah, we're getting ready to actually. I think we were talking a little bit of pre-show about how we now are going out with a more international reach for our show, and coming up and launching some awesome stuff at ADE this October, and then coming around the corner in Q1 of 2023, we're looking at launching our own DJ Sessions label, and it's going to
Yeah.
be a very interesting journey doing that because we've kind of just danced around like, what are we going to take for submissions? Are we just going to only produce our own internal stuff? Is it going to be our own internal crew, or are we even going to take submissions? What genres do we want to focus on?
Right.
What avenue do we want to go down, and whose doors do we want to knock on to promote those tracks? And it brings me right into a question we were just talking about. A little bit about you saying once they sign, they're not going to do anything for you. And if you don't, if you're not seeing any traction, you're not getting anything, do it yourself. And that's why I saw this question come up when they asked, what measures do you take to actively promote yourself, your releases, and your career? And is solid PR an important asset for a DJs to have? I'd say DJs, producers to have.
Uh, well, again, it goes back to always being present, engaging on social media. Again, music is not like the most important thing, unfortunately. But you should release. You should, like, if you have to make the noise and create momentum. If you don't have the momentum, people will forget about you. If you release a track once every 6 months or once a year, maybe that song was great for you and maybe did well also on on the stream platforms, but people forget about it. You know how many tracks are released every day. I don't need to tell you.
I can
So
tell you that when I was in school in my marketing class in 2018, the teacher comes out and says, "Hey, we're going to talk about social media for a minute," and says, "Do you know there's 1 million videos going up to YouTube every minute?" This was
right,
before TikTok became TikTok.
right, right.
So,
So what makes you so special? You have to again look for the audience, finding it and making liking your stuff. That's why sometimes I get like, I posted something on my social media a few days ago. It's like all these producers, they release a track or like they make this video like how to make the track, like all act like there's like this chemists, like this special, like, I get it that you have to be skilled to make a song, but like, like just make the music, and don't release crap. I'm not saying that, but like don't act like you like Pink Floyd, and it's like just like, like you can always get better, but create that momentum, make a track. But already when you release a track, already think about the next track you're going to release, within 4 to 8 weeks. So always have music coming out. Make sure it's not garbage. but, but promote it. So when the question asks the PR, you are the PR. You are, so the social media. Try to get interviews. Try to be on radio shows. Submit your music. Try to bring something on the table. Because people like you have a lot of stuff going. You have a lot of people to interview, but maybe you have something to bring on the table. Hey, I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna advertise your show or something. Like you. But labels, they just don't care unless you're already big and huge, because they know they're gonna have streams, they're gonna get royalties.
mhm.
So just focus on marketing yourself with social media. Have a plan of what kind of style you want to go for with your music, and constantly working on music. Don't release everything, but have something ready and release it. Every 4 to 8 weeks, and engage. And don't stop, because that momentum you're creating, that's what's gonna make people excited. It doesn't matter if it's 100 people, if it's 1,000 people, if it's 1 million people. It's like, like we have to start somehow, and don't worry about hiring a PR person, spending like thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars every month just to write some reviews and nice, or like these blogs. I find it to be, again, you have to have connections nowadays. It's always been like that. Dancing Astronaut, oh my god, I have to be on Dancing Astronaut. But again, maybe maybe you do a advertisement. You start talking to them. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a few thousands on putting my release artwork on your website, and then gonna be nice all of a sudden. So it is like giving a take. Nowadays it's like, unless you have your best friend who runs this website and this dance music blog, it's very difficult. So you have to bring something on the
Mhm.
table, and then just keep promoting it, and create the momentum, and always release something, and then so that's what it is. I mean, again,
And
that's what I think it is. Again, I don't know. I My own experience, and it's my own advice to anyone who wants to do this. That doesn't
now,
mean, and also that doesn't mean you're gonna be like making, like, what is making it, because people think, there's other obsession with just becoming
yeah.
famous and successful. Why everyone is so obsessed to become successful? You already should think you're successful. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
long as you're doing it, you're making something you like. And again, there's only 5 people in your family liking yours, even if it's your dog who's liking your music. Then that's what it is. Start small and do it for yourself, because it's going to make the whole process better. Good vibes, good energy. And if in a year, 5 or 10 years, you're going to be performing and DJing in front of 10,000 people, good for you. That's awesome. But it might not be possible, it might not happen. But if you think that you're doing music for yourself and it's making you happy, and if you DJ and you're doing a small party next block, and there's like 50 people, that's fantastic. It's amazing. People
Mhm.
enjoying what you're doing. But you have to be ambitious. Of course, I'm not saying you don't have to be ambitious, but don't have that anxiety. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
be happy with your music, with what you're doing, create that momentum, and then build it from there.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, you just have to do it for yourself. And if you're not happy, then you're missing the point.
And you went out and did you start Minecraft Music? Is that your label? Is that the name of your label?
Mhm.
Minecraft Music. And you put out a number of releases. I mean, enough to actually do your own set of just your own tracks. How far and few between is that for most DJs or most producers to actually play enough of their mixes to have a full. I mean, there was 12 songs on that boat that Malta boat set that I saw
Mhm.
that you used there. Good 46-minute set. But sometimes producers, they don't make all the same genre, let alone all in the same key.
Right.
So how do they play all their same? Can they play a set of all their mixes or just insert just one song into their mix? Is that something you can do quite frequently? Are you producing that much music and releasing that much music?
Again, it's just part of my new philosophy of, as far as like performing, and hopefully get in the venues in the near future, is that, again, I want to be able to perform my own music.
Mm-hmm.
Before, I would just play 100% mainstream stuff, and people would just be recognize the music, and of course it's a different kind of vibe and energy. But if you can play your own stuff, and I'm at that point where I can do it, I could do it even before with more EDM, uh, electro progressive style, doing mashups, adding, mainstream vocals to my own production. And, it was great and it worked out for a while. But again, I got tired of that. But now it's like the set I did on the boat, it's like I just love the thing that I can just, have a set that is from, from a house to a tech house style. So, it goes really well, where you can start the police coming for you.
No, I live on a street corner in the worst. I don't want to say the worst location in Seattle. It's the most highly trafficked. I live in the heart of downtown Seattle on a corner called Third and Pine, and it's literally where all the tourists go. Basically, I live on the corner of Times Square
Hey,
of Seattle, Washington.
as long as they're not coming for you, I'm
But
happy.
it also happens to be the same thoroughfare that the ambulances and police take to go through the city, because
I see.
First Avenue is too backed up, Second Avenue is one way, Third Avenue has enough room and it's the bus lanes, it's buses
Right.
only. Fourth Avenue is one way, Fifth Avenue is one way. I think Sixth Avenue might even be one way. So they drive by my house constantly all day long, and sometimes the mic picks it up and sometimes it doesn't. But I've literally nicknamed this street corner. I've been here for about 8 years, going on 9 this fall, for 9 years, and I've nicknamed it Third in Crime. A few months ago, just I know we're digressing off the internet, but a few months ago, I had got home from being on a road trip, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and two people got shot within 3 days downstairs. While I was away on vacation, there was a shooting in front of the building. Somebody died, and then a week and a half before that, somebody got shot a block down the street.
Nice. Safe area.
Now it has now finally after 8 years,
Hmm.
they finally got rid of the bus stop out in front,
Oh,
and there's a 24-hour police presence for a 2 block radius in every direction.
hey, be safe.
And yeah, now nothing happens down here. Now my mom would be able to come visit me.
Good, 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 good. No,
But yeah, it's that's usually ambulances that are going up and down because they can get through the city faster
got it.
going up and down Third Avenue than they can any of the other
Got it.
streets. But
Oh,
sorry about that. No,
No,
please
no,
do
it's
not.
funny. No, but we're talking about so like yeah, I'm happy to throw all my music in my sets,
Yeah,
and again, if I want to keep going this direction, because it's again, it makes me feel better when and if I can have the people liking it, if there's a good interaction and good energy between me and the audience when you play live, because I'll be testing it, and then it's like, okay, this is great, But again, if you want to throw some other singles here and there from other producers you really support, then you should do that. But
that's what I was. That was
yeah,
going to be my next question. I was going to ask you is, what happens if you're out there in a live set playing your own music? You've set up your set to have your own music, and the audience just isn't responding to it. Would you switch over to something a little bit more commercial, or would you try to find something else in your arsenal to say, okay, I'm going to quickly throw this in there? How do you adjust for that when it's your own music?
I would say back in the day, a few years ago, I would just please the audience whatever I could, because I would have the music ready to go, but I would say now, if you communicate with the promoters and the booking guy at the venue, in order to, you can avoid miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get to know the venue and the people you'll be playing, because it's better to know in advance than, like you're saying, going there and just really, not not feel love. It's we have to be prepared,
Oops.
and if you can, yeah. So I would try to prevent that, because I wouldn't be feeling happy and accomplished if I had to play most of the music on a DJ set that is not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's my new way to approach live sets, and so communication with the booking guy and venue, talk, if you have an agent, talk to the agent, making sure that your music is what they you know most likely will like, and they have to accept that. Otherwise, they book you, they're spending some money to book you,
Yeah.
and they should appreciate what you do, and you can't just be like a jukebox where they uh, I mean, it goes back to that same thing, like give more value to production. So to DJs actually produce, so people know beforehand what you make. So they expect that. Or again, you can produce certain things, and then when you do a live show, you can play something else. You know what I mean? I totally feel it's okay. But again, because it's also, in order to gain more like different kinds of audience, sometimes you might have to release something that it's not necessarily what you play at a live set. But again, not many producers or DJs might agree with me, but I think I can make a hate song, that does extremely well. It's got like beautiful vocals. It sounds more like radio mainstream. But then when I get a booking or something, then I'll play a complete underground tribal tech house set. It's like, but again, you have to kind of like let the audience know that, listen, I can make classical music. I can make, more like mainstream when it's about Spotify and all these main platforms, and playing live is this style. You know what I mean? And there's DJs do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I think.
I think that there was a question up here I accidentally I clicked on, but I want to get back to it.
I didn't see it.
I think it was this one here is, what's the craziest way somebody's tried to pay you? Would you take Bitcoin, NFTs? What wouldn't you take as a form of pay?
Um, I mean, I will take crypto. Of course, I'll take. Yeah, I'll probably take Ethereum.
I had that question come up, and somebody said I actually once was paid in fish, and I
In
was like,
fact,
what? Yeah, I guess apparently they took him out to dinner, and they got this really. He said, "This is what I really want, and if you get this for me, I'll come play your show." They bought him this huge like fish spread dinner thing. It was like something amazing. I'm like, that's a first.
wow, that's. I mean, if it's like lots of expensive, good like lobsters. I don't know, something
Yeah, it
that.
was something like amazing. I don't know, but yeah, it's and then coming up to NFTs. Have you done any research on NFTs and looked into the NFT world or market?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, when it's I know there's a lot of musicians are starting like using that. I don't personally do it. I'm more interested, into the crypto world in general.
Mhm.
But I, mostly focus on the big guys. The Bitcoin or Ethereum. But NFTs, I mean, I know that it's huge. It's great. There's a lot to do, and you can. I think it's Diplo does that where he just has supporters. So you can build some. You can have your brand, your career be supported. So it become like a public um, um, brand,
Mhm.
and you. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a great way to do it. If you planning on doing that, there's some great good things you can do with it, and have your audience be part of your growth. And so yeah, definitely.
One thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about releasing your own tracks, and the thing that you won't have to worry about if you're streaming on Instagram or Twitch or TikTok is being taken down for copyright because you own all the licensing to the music you're playing.
But believe it or not, it's funny because we shot this video a couple weeks ago and uploaded on YouTube 4 days ago. I can't not upload it on Instagram. It keep taking. Yeah, it's like it's copywriting. Like so for YouTube, no problems because and it shows all the music on the description
Yeah.
below, so it's easy for people to be like, okay, this song is this one. But Instagram, it's take more time. I contact my distributor, say, hey, what's going on, because it's like I can't post it on Instagram. I can't even post as a reel. Like I have to do some like shorter versions because
Yeah.
on Instagram videos you can post the whole. You can do up to 60 minutes. So
Okay.
the set is 45 minutes. So it's been very frustrating where it's like my own music. I own 100% of the rights, visual and also musically, and nothing just keeps taking down. So I had to fill out a form with through my distributor, and but they say like it's out of our hands. It could take a week, could take 2 weeks before they actually um, they approve it and then you can re-upload it. It's just frustrating because again, it goes back to that momentum. You're trying to build that momentum so this thing can like uh, slow down the process. Uh, but it is what it is. See, even though you have your own music, yep.
That's one of the things that I want to say warn people, but I've been trying to educate people. I'd rather use the term educate than warn, because warn sounds like you're doing something bad and you shouldn't be doing that, rather than, hey, this is why this is happening and you got to understand the process. And it's not Facebook's fault necessarily, or Twitch's fault, or Instagram's fault, or TikTok's fault, because their hands are tied because of the DMCA,
Yeah,
because of copyright protection. Laws are there to protect you if you were a musician, so you don't get exploited. Imagine
right.
if one of these companies, if it was a free open market, and one of these companies took your song, went and made a commercial to market a product that they made millions and billions of dollars off of, and didn't give you anything for your song.
Of
Okay,
course.
you wouldn't be very happy with that, would you? No.
No.
And so, there's some changes coming down the pipeline. I think we're going to see that, you know, producers are going to, I think what my prediction is we're going to see, unfortunately, the age of DJing online is going to be cracked down more. You aren't going to be
Right.
able to use other people's music online. You're going to be able to use your own music. And I think that's where we're going to see the explosion of talent emerging, is when they start putting out their own tracks that they own the rights to, and Twitch and these platforms or
Of course.
Instagram can't take the music down because the artist owns it. I'd be interested to see if they will, when they accept NFTs and saying, here's the NFT, it proves that I have the ownership for it. You can see it burned in, or however
Hmm.
the NFT is made. So I am uploading the NFT, and in that NFT, it gives me the rights to do this.
Right. And no,
Or
and
they recognize it as an official owned track, just like what Apple had to do when they released the iPod. The industry was going, what are you talking about? You can't make MP3s of music and sell them, and then this person can download it 85 times and send it off to 85 of their friends, or put the file online.
yeah,
Apple had to come out with those the AAC files, and that crackdown that says this can only be played on 5 devices.
right.
And if you want to register a 6th device, you got to delete one of the other 5 devices. you
Hmm.
know when is that kind of going to come into play? It's going to be interesting to see.
Right.
But yeah, I think you got a good thing going there, where you're obviously, this, you're owning all your own music and producing your own stuff. So
I think it should be like that, and it's very important, and because again, it gives more freedom to the actual producer and exposure.
yeah.
And, at the end of the day, the money, unfortunately, is not in the. I mean, again, if music gets streamed millions of times, you get some nice checks. But if you don't, then the money is either no money. Again, you do it for fun for a long time, or again, you just it's in the gigs. The
Mhm.
money's in the gigs, and the people don't even want to pay you what you're supposed to be paid. That's why there's too many DJs. Too many DJs. They don't make their own music. It goes back to that thing. If there were less DJs, I mean, it's again we
Yeah.
can keep talking
Now,
about the same thing.
a few final couple questions here. Have you looked at doing anything in virtual reality?
Uh, Sex.
No, I'm not music wise.
I
Oh wow! Okay, I wasn't expecting that one. No, virtual. Have you ever been asked? Have you done anything in any virtual reality nightclubs, or a stream
No, no,
live?
I
Or
was joking. I was joking. Come on.
oh, well,
No, not
what happens in VR stays in VR.
of course, of course. No, never. No, never really like did a show like with. I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't never done it. Never. I mean, I'm sure maybe people enjoy it, but I never really got into it.
We just launched 2 virtual reality nightclubs in alt space, and we're super excited to finally put the finishing touches on them and actually grand open them. And we had a lot of big plans in there, where we want to do like meet and greets, and we can stream live events, we can do record release parties, listening parties, all that kind of fun stuff in there. And then I see virtual reality being, when I have this conversation, is being what a website was. Where it's at now is where a website was in 1995.
Right. Sure.
And then all of a sudden, websites became the .com boom, and then all of a sudden out of that you had social media come into play, and now you're seeing things like virtual reality come into play, and it's just another branding experience that somebody can go in and go, hey, I'm a fan, I'm going to go in and I'm going to meet these people in this virtual reality world, and they can do this from a desktop, but it's a different experience when you have the
Right.
glasses, goggles on, and you're in there.
And if it is an audience, if you like testing it out, then it's fantastic. And if you see that it's growing, why not? I think it's like you're saying, like I don't know what the direction is, where is it going, and if but if there's people that really want to see what's happening in the nightlife, and again, I remember that in the 90s, growing up when I was like 15, 14, it was in it was more like on TV. Do you remember they would go with the camera with the lady
Yeah.
host interviewing? It was very popular. Then that stuff disappeared, you know. But I think that's kind of like the idea, right?
Yeah, and I mean that's how I started in the business, was working on a hip hop television show, and we would go out to the nightclubs and we'd be interviewing all the rappers and hip hop artists, and getting B-roll of the club and
Right,
putting it on public
right.
access television. And that's actually how this show got started. The DJ sessions was started out of another series I did called ITV Nightlife, where we'd be out in the clubs interviewing the DJs, the managers, the booking promoters, showing some B-roll footage and putting it on late night broadcast television, eventually putting it on podcasting, and then doing live streaming DJs from studio locations and inviting. When you need to start controlling the environment, that's when you're getting bigger, because you can't control the audio and the lighting and the crowd in a nightclub. So we just create a studio environment and then bring everyone into the studio and make the show happen. That's how this all originally started. And now we got live streaming of, now we're talking to people in Malta
Yeah,
in
no,
the virtual studios.
it's
So
fantastic.
awesome stuff. Well, Carl, is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you go?
Um, just follow your passions, and it's never too late to start something. And if you want to be in the music industry, you have to accept the thing. It's not a fair world, just like any other world. But you can still do it. You can still have fun with it, and just keep dreaming. But the dream starts today. It's not about um, tomorrow, and but definitely I thank you all for listening. Again, I wasn't expecting to be on this your show, and it makes me happy, and I hope I don't know. I feel like I want to inspire people somehow, if it's possible, because at the end of the day, it's important that you do something, and it's also helping others, and music is such a powerful tool, to do it. So whoever was listening today, I thank you, and I appreciate the time that you made to listen to us. And Darren, you were fantastic.
Thank you.
And I hope you can listen to my music. Again, my music is not for everyone, and I understand that. So, and but if you do want to keep listening to my music, please go. If you don't have a Spotify, Spotify, of course, is the biggest and the easiest, and the one that I prefer. I like personally to dig into other people profiles and artist profiles, and so just put Carlo Astuti, or I can see the link tree, or my Instagram at Carlo Astuti, and then all the links are from there. And just I had a release today, a new one. It's called Let's Disappear. It's more like a housey, uh, beautiful track with nice saxophone on the drop, and nice drums and other instruments. I hope you like it. I think let's keep in touch. That's the thing. I'm gonna have
Absolutely.
like new songs every like 2-3 weeks. I have new songs. And
Absolutely. Maybe we'll get a guest mix from you on one of these boats for an exclusive guest mix for the DJ
another one.
sessions we can share in our live stream. That'd be amazing.
But you can share that, right, with your on your website or the one
Yeah.
I sent you.
Yeah. We got that one coming up. We got an exclusive mix. We'll get more exclusive mixes from you.
Of course, anytime, anytime.
Awesome. Carlo, thank you for coming on the DJ sessions today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Darren. Thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Bye.
And on that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Meta, Twitter. We're out there, but the best place to go for all the news, events, updated live interviews. You can find out who's coming up on the show next. Find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Google Play, and soon to be Apple TV. This is Darren in the virtual studios for the DJ sessions. Carlo, Astuti coming in from Malta. And remember, on the DJ sessions, the music never